These are the lessons from my childhood. This week, I'm going to share with you the lessons that I learned from my teen years. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Real ZB. Today is part 3 of my Almost 30 series, and today I'm actually going to speak about the lessons that I learned from my 20s. So, without rambling on too much, let's get into it. So, one thing about my 20s, okay, is I learned a good work ethic. For a lot of my childhood and my teen years, I was sort of just relying on natural talent and, natural intellect, and that was working. That strategy was working for me, okay? But when I got to varsity, guys, when I got to varsity, that was not the case. I could not rely on just my natural ability anymore. I had to actually work hard to get good enough grades. And, even outside of school, I I had to learn to be self sufficient, which meant that I had to have a variety of jobs that I was doing at all times. But I'm actually grateful that I was able to learn that work ethic quite early on in my life. So I did a whole host of jobs. I did waitressing, I did promotions, I did retail, I was a netball coach, a mentor, tutor, like just everything under the sun. And some of those jobs required me to be on my feet for extended periods of time, which wasn't fun at all. But you know what? I had to secure the bag. And from that, I just learned a good work ethic. I learned that thing, but sometimes you don't want to go to work. It doesn't matter if the job is fun, or it doesn't matter if you have all your best friends in the workplace, but sometimes it's just difficult to get up and grind. And that's where I learned that discipline of being able to show up, even if it's not for myself, but being able to show up for the team. So, yeah, and another thing that taught me is there's no such thing as a small job. As you can see from the jobs that I listed as sort of jobs that I did in my varsity years, those aren't, fancy jobs. Everybody has to start somewhere, and I think a lot of my generation and maybe the generation that's coming up after us thinks that you start off in high places. I think a lot of young people expect to start off their careers or start off their jobs already in these high positions. And the reality about that is that, unfortunately, not all of us are Nepo babies. And unfortunately, not all of us are trust fund babies. And we have to start somewhere. There's no such thing as a small job. You're not too good for some jobs. If there's a job out there and you are young and you don't have anything else to bring you income, why wouldn't you do it? Just to keep yourself busy and just to learn that work ethic. Umzimba aqhelele nto yovuka aye somewhere to work. That doesn't have to be your full-on career path, but everybody starts somewhere. And the lessons that I learned from ESA jobs, even though they were low-paying jobs, entry-level jobs, the lessons that I learned from there are things that are part of my character now. Things that I could not have learned sitting in my res room feeling sorry for myself. I learned like unique characters and skills from those jobs that are a complete value add to my personality and my character and just my work ethic in general. It's very important to have a work ethic, guys, especially these days when there's these remote jobs and these jobs that allow you to sort of like, it's all la-di-da with time. Work whenever you're productive, work whenever you want to. And those jobs are very dangerous if you're someone who doesn't have a work ethic, because you will not get anything done. You will not get anything done because I would of people counting on you to do a job or to do your part. So yeah, I feel like those jobs were an important part of my 20s. And I met some good people along the way, and I'm glad that I did those jobs, because I look back now, I'm like, you is go guys, I have gold in life. And I know a lot of the time I don't look like it because I'm not the kind of person who complains a lot. I'm the kind of person who will keep my head down, solution mode, get this thing done, and then only at the end look back and be like, whoa, that was difficult. So yeah, while I was in it, I probably carried it well, but a lot of those jobs completely just, they weren't fun to do, but you know what? I did them and I'm all the better for it. Another thing that I learned from my 20s is it's okay to fail often, but make sure that you are failing forward. Your 20s are prime time for making all of your mistakes. If there was ever a time for you to start a business if you want to, if there was ever a time for you to try out different career paths, hop from job to job, like do whatever your heart desires, it is your 20s, especially if you don't have kids and no responsibilities. Literally, sky's the limit. And it's okay if you try something for a short period of time and it doesn't work out. Just make sure that you are learning from all the risks that you're taking. Make sure that there are lessons and things that you're taking forward and carrying forward to your next step. I don't know if you realize this, but your past failures actually propel you to your future success. So as long as you are trying and failing, it means that you are stumbling one step closer to the end result, to the success, to your breakthrough, to your viral moment. So don't be afraid to fail. I saw a TikTok earlier this week that was talking about basically like a lot of young people these days don't want to start something or don't want to try something because they don't want people to think they're cringy, or they don't want people to think they look stupid, or they don't want to be mocked by people. Who cares? You're in your 20s. Who cares? Even in your 30s, who cares? In your 40s, who cares? If you want to try something, try it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. Take the lessons and keep it pushing, keep it moving on to the next thing. But don't be afraid just because people will mock you. One thing about people, guys, they will mock you when you're starting out, but when you're all of a sudden big and they can see that you're successful and you're making money, all of a sudden they're like, I know that girl. She's my friend. I went to school with that girl. Oh, I have that girl on WhatsApp. People are very wishy-washy, so don't base your decision on whether or not you're going to go after the things that you want on people's opinions or what people might think about you, because abantu ba wishy-washy, guys. At the beginning, while you are struggling or you're trying your best to keep it together and you look like in the ocean, people are going to mock you, obviously. People are going to say, why do you even try? People are going to try to discourage you. But the vision has been given to you. Your vision has not been given to anybody else but you. So don't let anybody's opinions deter you from going after the vision that God has planted into your heart. So, kwalento yofuna opinions about a vision or desire that has been planted in your heart, don't do that thing. If you have the impression to start something or to do something or to go after something, just do it. Just do it. Don't ask for anyone's opinion. What would you think if undite? What would you think if I went back to school? What would you think if I quit my job and did my master's? Don't go around asking people what they think, because the vision has been given to you and you will make it work. The Lord will reveal how you're going to make it work or how you're going to make it a success, line upon line, precept upon precept. So you don't need to have the full picture in order for you to go after. If you have that strong desire to go after something, go after it. Make that leap of faith to go after something, and the Lord will reveal your steps. He will guide your steps towards success in that thing. And if you're not successful in that thing, don't think that you weren't supposed to go out on a limb on that thing. It could happen that you failing at that thing opens up another opportunity, an even bigger opportunity for you to be able to do something else. So like I said, your past failure will propel your future failure. So let the Lord guide your steps. Don't let people deter you away from the seed that has been planted in your heart. Please, I'm preaching and I didn't mean to, but hallelujah, amen. Another thing that I learned from my 20s is it's a really nice thing to have a break from your hometown. Imagine growing up in a place and then studying there further and then working there. You are, guys, I think personally, especially if it's a small town, I would go mal. So I really appreciate the 7 years that I was living it up in Cape Town. Even though Cape Town came with its own challenges, child, and its own struggles, and one day we'll talk about those. But that break was nice to be out there way too. I think it's an important thing to, especially in your 20s, to move away from home if you can. I know the economy right now is ivumi, but if there's an opportunity to move away from home even for a little bit, to be independent, okay, uzimele, okay, and just depend on yourself for a while. I feel like that's a very valuable experience that you will have. Even if at some later stage you will move back home or move back to your hometown or what have you, but at least to have la break, okay, ube out there in the world, figuring out for yourself. I feel like that's something that will be so valuable, especially in your 20s, because you're still young and hopefully you don't have a lot of responsibilities yet. I know a lot of people in their 20s already have kids, and some of y'all are already married in your early 20s. But if you don't have responsibilities already and you have the means, I feel like it's a good idea to just break away, man. Go out there, experience life, experience the world, be independent, depend on yourself, provide for yourself. Even if it's when you're going out to varsity, even if you're going for a short course somewhere for a year, even if you're going on a boat or wherever you're going, just go and experience something totally different from how you grew up. And if your purpose then leads you to go back to your hometown, then that's something, at least that's something you made a decision to do, and it's not because you were stuck there. Another thing that I learned from my 20s is the fact that your 20s, as much as you're young, you're flirty, you're fun, but it's not all fun and games, right? Have as much fun as you can because you're carefree, you don't have responsibilities, kumnandi, valid, but also work towards your goals. Work towards what you want to be when you're 40. Work towards what you want to be when you retire. Make sure that you are planting those seeds already in your 20s if you have the means. I understand the situation sikuyo as a country. Like, not a lot of people probably don't have, the opportunity to be able to plant seeds towards their distant future. But if you have a job, like, plan for your retirement. I mean, girl, plan a career path, try things that are going to help you in future when you do have responsibilities. Do things that your 40-year-old you is going to thank you for in your 20s still. As much as you want to have fun because you're young, obviously, but also make sure that some things you do take a little bit seriously. You do make sure that you're planting seeds quite early in life that will maybe come into fruition in 20 years' time. Just think towards the future, think about that for a moment, and don't just play games. You're not going to be in your 20s forever. So it's really not a good idea to be the class clown and just play games and be the joker the whole time during your 20s. There are some things that you actually need to take seriously and make sure that you have set yourself up for success. But in the same breath, another thing that my 20s taught me is the fact that it's okay to not have everything figured out. It's completely okay if you are coming or you are going, or whether you are up or you are down or around. It's okay. It's okay. You are young. This is coming from a 29-year-old who is turning 30 in 3 days' time. And sometimes I need to remind myself, but listen, Z, you're still young. You're still young. You don't need to have everything like perfectly planned out and figured out. Like, some things will come when they come. Some things will, bear fruit when they bear fruit. And that's okay. It's just one thing that a lot of us tend to forget in our 20s. You grind so hard that you forget that you're young, you don't have that much experience in life yet. You were literally a teenager just the other day, and it's okay if yonke into isn't the way that you planned it. And it's okay if your life doesn't look like another person's life. It's that thing where even though we are all the same age or in the same age range, some people will do things earlier on in life and some people will do things later on in life. And that's okay. You don't have to put pressure on yourself just because so and so is the same age as you were together in high school and they've now bought a house. Gogo sowuphantsi phezulu nawe ufuna uthenga indlu because kaloku awuzukwazi ushiyeka kweentanga zakho. Listen, this is your own race, so go at your own pace. Even if you are 30 and you don't have a house, you don't have a car, you've never worked before, don't compare your life to a 30-year-old who's been working since they were 20 and has now bought a big house and has kids and all of that stuff. Like, everything in God's time will happen for you. Everything that you desire will happen for you. But just don't let the comparison monster steal your joy. Run your own race, run it at your own pace, because the Lord is going to guide your specific steps, line upon line, precept upon precept. He will reveal to you where you need to go, when you need to go, what you need to be doing. And it's not going to be the same as me. It's not going to be the same as the person next door. So stop looking left and right, and stop comparing left and right. Focus on you. If there's one thing that you're going to take away from this video, I hope it's that you should focus on you. And if you are a 93 baby and you are turning 30 this year, please let me know in the comments section. I know a lot of you are dreading turning 30, but honestly, it's just another age. You are still young. You know, even though you're not in your 20s anymore, you are still young. You are still at your prime. So I don't know what it is about 30 that makes people so nervous, but I'm so obsessed with turning 30. Like, I cannot wait for Saturday so that I can officially say I'm 30, I'm flirty, and I'm thriving. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave the whole Almost 30 series over here. So go ahead and catch up if you haven't watched the other 2 installments, and I'll see you next week for another video. Thank you so much for watching, guys.